Well, in April of last year, the Dear Mama docuseries was released.
Mm-hmm.
And I interviewed Allen Hughes about this.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And thank you, brother, for what you said. I appreciate it.
What did I say?
You said I could see why he could be a little slighted, the way you cut him off when he was talking.
Yeah, the way he edited when you were describing why you weren't in Tupac's life, it was purposely kind of...
Exactly.
The audio sort of cut out.
Like
and basically it was like blah, 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 blah. Who cares? And I remember there was the scene where he talked about why he wasn't around. And artistically, you sort of kind of let him just sort of phase out with his words. I saw what you did artistically, but I could see from his point of view, it was probably not very flattering.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. And I'm sorry to hear he feels that way because, you know, it's like, what are we gonna do? Hang around and let him say? I think that when he says, "Listen, me and your mother, like this was going down and that was going down," because here's what I learned about the scenario. To Billy's point, to the family's point, to Afeni's point, like if we really want to get in there.
Now, listen, I think that what was so dope about Dear Mama was that you had this massive amount of star power in this. I mean, you had, you know, Eminem, you had Dr. Dre, you had Snoop Dogg, but it was used so sparingly. Just a few seconds here, a few seconds there, so you could focus on who the real players were as opposed to who the stars were. Yeah.
And also getting back to the thing about, and again, it hurts my heart that Billy Garland feels that if I slighted him, that, you know, or that was not the intent. The movie's called Dear Mama. And I'll tell you what happened in the process. There were a lot of stories, a lot of things, which especially you, Vlad, know, that we could have gone off in this and could have gone. With Tupac, you can go off into all kinds of shit. Yeah. And we did initially. And then we had in the cutting room to go, now, what is this film about? If it doesn't have to do with Tupac and Afeni's connection to each other and how it dovetails back, whatever story it is, back to how it affects one another, then it doesn't matter to me. And so it hurts me to hear that Mr. Garland feels that way, but also the movie's not about him and Tupac.
Yeah.
And it's not about him and Afeni either. It's about the effect of that dynamic, you know?
Yeah, and I knew, as a filmmaker myself,
you could do that.
I know what he did,
right?
You know, and I told him about it. I thought it was actually
You did tell him about it.
I did tell him about it.
I appreciate that. Thank you, brother.
No problem. I did think it was a very well put together piece, though.
It was decent.
I love the way that he took Tupac's vocals and put them under kind of sparse instrumentals to really accent what Pac was saying by taking away some of the music and just leaving his words with just a little bit of aura.
But with a few things that didn't make sense, brother. One, you question whether he's bipolar. Two, you have somebody says that he got shot in the nuts, which he did not. I saw his nuts. I told you, he displayed them to me at Jasmine Guy's apartment. He said, "Pop, they didn't shoot me in the nuts." 2 healthy nuts right in front of me. I was like, okay.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. And some other things that had happened. I just can't believe it. But what are you going to do, brother? Everybody got separate opinions. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you said that you feel that everyone who did Dear Mama had a personal beef with Tupac.
Yeah, that. Some guy had said that he had the Glock. When he pulled it out, he shot himself in the nut. How do you know that? How do you know he's bipolar? A delusional, you know, Snoop Dogg's the gangster, you're not. What are you trying to tear him down? He never really got along with Allen Hughes. And for the life of me, to this day, I don't know why they picked him.
Well, the Hughes brothers got jumped at the Spice One video shoot because Tupac ended up leaving the Menace to Society.
Right, I remember that.
Film project.
Right, they sued.
Over an argument.
Right.
So, you know, they did have, you know, they sued him afterwards and so forth. So, you know.
He didn't really like the guy, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I don't care how you put
it. It is what it is.
He didn't like the guy.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you know, but I do have to say I thought it was a very well together, you know, very well put together project. But I could see how it would bother you because obviously the way I'm looking at it, the way you're looking at it is two totally separate lenses.
When you talk for an hour and that's all you're going to give me?
A couple of minutes, yeah.
And that wasn't even tangible. You didn't know what the fuck I was saying. Excuse me, right? You said it.